to my channel. It's Tony. Did you miss me? I missed you. It's been a long time, right? Okay, so this video is gonna be about my egg donation process. You may remember one of my first videos where I said I almost donated my eggs. Well, I did now. Basically, the London Egg Bank called me up. I think it was in like I think it was July, August time, and they said, oh, you know, Tony, we want you to donate now. It's okay. It doesn't matter if you're a carrier of cystic fibrosis. I went through the whole process again, went back to their offices in London Bridge and did a few tests just to make sure everything was still okay, and they said to come back on my next period. So I went back on my next period, which was in I think early August, but then when I went there I had an ovarian cyst on my right ovary, which meant that I couldn't start the treatment. An ovarian cyst is fairly normal. They usually resolve themselves on their own, but it just meant that if I had started taking injections, then there could be like loads of complications because of that. So that's why they advised me to wait to my next period. Fast forward to my next period, I had to call them up my first day of period and then go in on day 2 or 3 of the period for them to do some scans. It's called a baseline scan, just to make sure just that I have a comparison for when I start taking the injection. So once that was all good, I then went over to the nurse who gave me my box of injection for me to take. Typically when a woman has her period, only 1 egg matures. Now could you imagine having to go through this experience of extraction and only get 1 egg? The injections they gave me was to stimulate maturation of the ovaries and the egg follicles. They gave me a gonal injection, which is what I'd have to take every for the night for about a week and a half, and then there was the Firmidil one, which was to stop me ovulating, so of course you don't want all those eggs to be ready and everything. And then there was a trigger shot they also gave me, which was towards the end of the treatment. So in total the process itself takes about a week and a half, maybe up to 2 weeks maximum. It depends on how quickly your egg follicles are maturing. From that day I had to inject either side with a gonal injection, and then from I don't remember, like a few days after that I then had to start taking the Firmidil ones to stop me ovulating. So I was injecting myself in the morning and then in the evening, alternating each side just to make sure that the site wasn't, you know, bruised. Taking the gonal injection wasn't that painful. It was actually quite easy. It was like boop, it was done. That was it. The Firmidil one, because the bigger needle, did actually hurt a bit more, but it was like a sharp sensation. Like it wasn't anything major. The trigger shot was, I felt like a proper doctor when I did it. So I had to like get the injection, put it in this little fluid thing, injection in, take it out, and then like flick flick flick, and then put it in. Throughout all of this injection taking, I had to go in for regular scans just to make sure that everything was all Gucci inside. The scans involved like a little wand, an ultrasound wand going inside of you, and then they look at each ovary to see how the eggs are maturing. First scan I went to, they said that when the follicles were like a 9 millimeter, I don't know what measurement is, but when it reached like 9, that meant that the eggs were maturing. Good things happening. On the second scan, which was about 2 days later, they booked me in for my egg collection because everything was looking very well. The eggs were maturing quite nicely. So that was on a Thursday, and I was booked in to go to collect on the Monday. The final injections happened on Saturday, and then after that I had a rest day on Sunday, and then Monday was the egg collection. To prepare for the egg collection day, I had to make sure that I didn't eat or drink after midnight on the Sunday, and I couldn't eat or drink anything up until I got the egg collection done. Then came Monday, I went to the clinic, which was in Harley Street. It was the first time I was in a hospital gown, so I had to like strip naked, put a hospital gown on, had to pass urine just to make sure my bladder was all empty. They went through like the consent and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm all good, let's do this, I'm ready. Then they gave me a little kidney shaped bowl with 3 things inside them, and they said, okay, you're gonna have to put this up your bum. And I was like, what? Yeah, it was like a patisserie. No, wait, no, it's not patisserie, but depository. I don't know what it's called. But there were 2 antibiotics and then 1 painkiller, and then that was just to prevent any sort of infections happening. And the painkiller was, of course, to, you know, make sure it didn't hurt so much. I had to go to the bathroom and then had lube. They gave me lube as well, and then I had to like stick these 3 things up my bum because of course I couldn't eat anything or drink anything before the procedure. Now it makes sense why they said not to eat, because you don't want like any, you know, caca. So after that, the nurse took me into the room where the procedure was going to happen. I met the doctor again and they explained what was going to happen to me, put my legs up in stirrups like how it was when I had the initial scans previously, and they told me what they were going to do. They had to clean the vagina first. They used the same apparatus that they use for the smear test. They used that to widen the hole, the vagina hole, yeah. And then they use something to clean the inside first, and they take it out again, and then they put the ultrasound one in again. They had to then inject each ovary with anesthesia, local anesthesia. So it was, my coochie was sedated basically, and it was a sharp sensation. Like it was like like I literally had to like, oh. When I went in each side, I was like, oh my god, what have I done? What have I done? I was really considering like, can I say stop? Can I just stop? But in my head I was like, okay, people have gone through with this and they've been okay. I will be okay. I will be okay. So then once the anesthesia was in, they waited a few minutes for it to kick in, and I was like, okay, it's not too bad, right? Not too bad. And then I see the needle that was meant to extract all my eggs, and I was like, fuck. The needle was like this big, and they put it through the ultrasound one. They started with the right ovary and they took it, and I was like, oh my god. It was, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it was fucking painful. And I was like, it's really, and they were really supportive though. They were really nice. They're like, oh, concentrate on your breathing, just breathe in, breathe out, sharp, like deep breath in when they put it in. It didn't help. The breathing didn't help. I was still in pain. And I generally think it's because I just don't have a very good pain threshold. Imagine my pain threshold. My pain threshold is crybaby, and I wanted to cry, but I was like, I don't even have the energy to cry. I was like, just whimpering. They're like, you're doing okay, you're doing very good, Tony, you're doing so good, just concentrate on your breathing. I was like, oh my god, is this what childbirth feels like? I am never giving birth. And then when the pain got too much from the right, they took a break, and then like, okay, we're gonna go to the left now. I was like, okay. And so they went into the left. Surprisingly, the left didn't hurt as much. It still hurt, but I feel like the local anesthesia like really kicked in at that point, so it didn't hurt as much. It still did hurt. It hurt. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it fucking hurt. And prior to this, I was like, you know, people do this like 3 times. I could do 3 times. I could do it. It's not too bad. After that, no. Once is enough. Once is enough for me. So yeah, so they extracted from the right ovary. The part that made it really uncomfortable was the moving around, and that's what made it uncomfortable. It's just that my uterus, my vagina hole, my walls, it's not that big. It's not big. I tried getting the coil done a few years ago, and they tried putting it inside me, and I couldn't. I almost passed out because I was like, nah, it's too tight on there. It's too narrow. There's like that much room. Nope. And I think that's why it hurt so much, because like, I'm a big ass baby. I couldn't handle it. So yeah, so after that was done, I was like, I can't do it anymore. Babe, you're gonna have to pull it out. You're gonna have to take the needle out. And she's like, yeah, we're almost done, more than halfway. I was like, okay. Finally, the needle came out and the pressure was gone, and I felt like, whew, felt infinitely better. So much better as soon as it was out. And I was like, why was I being so dramatic? And then I remembered the pain. I was like, that's why I was being dramatic, because it fucking hurt. And they congratulated me. It was like, you did so well, Tony, well done, you can relax now. I'm like, thank you. They took the ultrasound out, they put my legs down, and they put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me back to the recovery room. And I went on the bed, just rested for a bit, gave me water, gave me biscuits. I was like, I feel better now. Yeah, I wonder what all the drama was about. So yeah, so I was in recovery for about half an hour, just chilling, just relaxing. They took my blood pressure and just checking that everything was okay. And before I could leave, I had to make sure I passed urine again, and that was just to make sure that the sedation had worn off my coochie and like, you know, I could still pee. And then after that, they told me how much eggs they'd actually managed to collect from me, and they said that it was 24. I know, right? 24 eggs were collected, which is a lot. Typically like 12 to 15 get collected, so I was very much an overachiever, as usual. Because so many eggs were taken from me, there was the risk that I may develop complications. Something about hyperstimulation about the ovaries, and it's a possible complication when you do donate egg, because you're injecting yourself with like hormone fertilization sort of things, and it can cause your ovaries to overstimulate the amount of eggs you have. That was a potential risk that I knew before I even signed up. I was like, yeah, it's all good, I'll be fine. And to be honest, the team, the egg team, they're really supportive. Like, they have a helpline for if I'm ever experiencing any sort of thing, I can get in touch with them. They are in touch with me regularly as well. So they told me that I had given so many eggs, and you know, bit risky. I had to go across the street to the other part of the clinic just to get some extra injections to prevent any sort of complications from happening. So they gave me the Fermidol again, which was to stop me ovulating. So I'm taking those for the next I've got 4 left, so I have to take this for the next 5 days, and they'll call me again on Friday to see how I'm doing, if I've got any concerns. If there are any concerns, then I'll go in for another scan, but if not, then they'll see me in like 4 weeks time just to kind of go over everything, make sure I'm still doing okay. They also offer counselling as well if you want to do that at the end of the treatment. It's up to you if you do, but the offer is there because of course it can be, you know, an experience and you might want to talk about it. I think I'll be fine though, honestly. Though I do want to give a shout out to all the women who are taking IVF, who are doing IVF, because it's hard, like injecting yourself with all that, and then like the process to, I imagine the process to get the eggs inside of you is the same as them taking it out of me, and that's not hard, that's not easy. That is very difficult, it's very hard, and you know, IVF doesn't always work the first time around. You have to go through this again and you still have the same sort of risks and complications that could happen. So yeah, kudos to all the women out there and the couples out there, all the people out there who are trying to have baby through IVF. It's hard, and I really admire your determination and your ability to kind of go through that, even when knowing that it may not happen the first time. But yeah, that was my experience. Would I recommend it? I'm not gonna do it again. I'm not gonna do it again, but like honestly, if you do want to do it, I do recommend doing it. You might handle pain a lot better than me, so go for it. It's something to really consider before you do it, because you're gonna have kids out there. You can decide how many families can use your eggs. I chose to have only 2 families use my eggs because I didn't want to be having so many kids out there, because the maximum you can put down is like 10 families, and that was too much for me. There are like conditions you can put onto it. It's all about making you very comfortable, and the egg bank team are just very supportive along the way as well. So that's one good thing about it, is that you're always going to be supported. If you are considering doing it, I do recommend, because it is a good thing to do for someone who wants to start a family and who can't and would really like to do IVF. So why not give them that happiness and that joy? Yeah, go for it. Why not? It's a good thing. And when you get all these injections, it's basically like being on your period. So my tits have grown massively. It's temporary though. It's a temporary growth. But yeah, they've literally ballooned. Like, I'm on my period, but I'm not on my period. Another thing to actually consider as well is that once you've done this, you might get some spotting, early bleeding and stuff. It might take like a month for your period to go back to normal, but I think it's fine. It's alright. Just keep an eye on it. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about the process, and I'll answer them. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover, but let me check. Oh yeah, so the whole process itself, like, it was over really quickly. It took 10 minutes. It only took 10 minutes, but it felt like longer, obviously, because it was painful. And then at the end of it, I was able to just go home. I had a shoot like a few hours later, and I was fine. I didn't really have any spotting. I didn't really have many cramps. I think the painkiller up my bum definitely helped. One thing about that is my bum hole, my booty hole, it felt really weird after. Like, it was like it was bubbling, and I felt so uncomfortable. I had to poo it out. The patisserie, no, it's not patisserie, depository. Yeah, the depository, it came out of my bum. It was a very quick procedure, and it was, yeah, you're just able to go home after and carry on with your day. It was almost like nothing happened. Like, you couldn't tell that I had just given 24 eggs away. Alright, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this very informative video. If I missed anything, if you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments and I will answer. Share this with anyone that you think is open to donating their eggs and has all these questions, because I'm happy to answer them. And I think my experience will maybe potentially shed some light onto what is happening with it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so that you know when I make my next video. See you next time. Bye.